Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back, another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, March 31st. The Celtics are wrapping up a road trip, and we're officially entering the final few weeks of the season. It's April as you're hearing this, and so
April
there will be
Fools.
playoffs this month, not April Fools. Is the playoffs this month, so that's very
That's why they
exciting.
got me here.
Maybe we should just not post this, and that's April Fools. April Fools, we haven't posted for the first time in 2
No
years.
video.
Yeah, psych. You thought, or almost 3 years, or no, 2 years now. Anyways, how you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Excited for the show today. We'll have a Celtics Grizzlies recap for you. That game is tonight at 8 as we record this. You guys will already have seen Jack and I do the pregame, but you can check the channel for the rest of our content. We have full pods dropping Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps morning after each game, and other videos up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. Like I mentioned, pregame streams are a half hour before tip, so come in and hang out. It's a ton of fun. Today's show will be a ton of fun, too. We'll go over the game. We'll do your emails. We'll go around the NBA. We had a brawl. Little wear back department call as well, and then we'll do the rat list and we'll get up out of here. Make sure you subscribe for all of it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Before we get going, I'm going to shamelessly plug an article I wrote. Maine Celtics start their playoffs today. As you listen to this, they're playing the Capital City Go-Go on Tuesday night. I wrote an article about their season turnaround, about what led to it, about the catalysts, about how bad they want to win, everything like that. It's up on Hardwood Houdini. Go check it out right now. It's called The Only One Thing Matters to the Celtics team fans need to pay attention to. I tweeted about it. Go read it. It was good. James Banks is one of the best quotes I've ever gotten in my life. So
nice.
Very fun. But yeah, let's throw it over to our recap of Celtics Grizzlies right here. All right, Sam and I are here after the Celtics 117-103 win over the Memphis Grizzlies, 6-0 on the road trip. As big of a success as you can possibly have. I don't know what the point differential was, but they smacked around pretty much every team they played. I think they were all 10-plus win or 10-plus point victories outside of the Spurs game. Maybe that one was probably a little closer, but a huge win for Boston. Great win. They looked awesome up and down the roster. Big Al Horford game, which we'll obviously talk about. John Morant played great, but it didn't really matter because the Celtics just put together a very well-rounded performance. Good win. One of their better wins, I would say, in recent memory, too. So, good job.
First time they played a semblance of a real team in a while. I think that has a little bit to do with the last part there. Memphis, for what it's worth, hasn't been very good against good teams this year. They're in that Knicks category where they play big boys and just don't perform. But this is a really fun watch, I think, overall. You just got, it was a really competitive back and forth game for the first half. Felt like it might be threatening to be a repeat of the game we saw at the Garden this year. Then the Celtics really have this kick-ass second quarter where they battle back, end up going to the half of the lead, and then they never really look back after that. They just kind of maintain control of the game. And, I mean, this was a well-rounded team win for the Celtics. We talked about Horford, but just another great, encouraging Jrue Holiday game to go along with that. This from the role guys, man, just something to think about. Just sit here and think about as we approach the playoffs in a couple of weeks. Just man, Holiday, Horford, they got it. They're ready.
Yeah, big win. Al Horford kind of made the Grizzlies look dumb. They entered the game. Xavier Tillman got the start. It was bad, but whatever. 0-5 from 3. But the Grizzlies' whole game plan was let's let X shoot. They were let's help off him. We're gonna put Zach Edey on a big man and let them shoot. And then Al Horford comes in the game, and they're all right, same thing. Hands together, team on 3, 1, 2, 3 team. And then Al Horford makes 6 threes. And it's just yeah, keep doing that, guys. I'll make you look real silly real fast if you want to keep doing that. He played incredible, man.
If this was any other team, you could make a real case for maybe they got them mixed up. Maybe they thought Al Horford was Tillman, but since Tillman played in Memphis for the first few years of his career, you can't really put that on them as much. But it's a new coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's what happened. But Al Horford made him look real dumb, made him look real silly for a lot of this game. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists for the big fella. Phenomenal game from Big Al Horford here. 9 of 8 teams in the field, like I said, 6 of 13 from 3. He was just raining them down. He got in the post a few times. His defense was awesome in this game. In the fourth quarter alone, he trapped Santi Aldama into a 24-second violation. He trapped Desmond Bane at the top of the key and forced him to pass to Santi Aldama, who bricked a 3. it was just a great all around two-way performance from the soon to be 39-year-old big man who continues to churn out huge games time and time again.
This road trip has been the runway for the Celtics as they approach the playoffs. Like, you're just kind of chilling in your seat, maybe putting on like a movie or a TV show, and then all of a sudden the plane kind of like jolts you back as the pilot steps on the gas to get going for takeoff. That's what the Celtics have done. Like, Horford tonight, I mentioned Holiday too, but like, these guys are just, you mentioned the defense showcasing. Yeah, we still have it in the tank. Like, don't worry about us. Like, we're good. We're ready for April, May, June. I'm pumped. This is, by the way, is the most threes Al Horford's ever shot in an NBA game. Never shot more than 13. So you witnessed history tonight. You also saw Derek White break the team 3-point record for a single season, which, if you watch the home broadcast, they only told you every single time he tried to shoot a three, to the point where he was 1 of 9. I think it was 2 of 10 when he made the record-setting one. And I was just like, what if he just doesn't make a three for the rest of the season? What if they just have to mention this every time he shoots a three the rest of the way? Well, now he's going to break the record every time anyways. History every day, actually. But back to the main point, Horford, excellent. Love that he hit the glass too. And just looking forward to seeing his big toe flare up on Wednesday.
Indeed. Shout out Al, man. He's great. He was getting active in the post a little bit down there too. He was just doing a little bit of everything for the Celtics. Jrue Holiday also amazing. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 6 from 3. Made the Grizzlies pay for what they did to him last time. It felt like they did that to Al this time, which I think is a pretty objectively worse decision to do. Worst choice to make, but he was great. Jrue Holiday was awesome. He looked super comfortable all over the floor. He was getting inside. He was starting to pick and roll. He was hitting his threes. He just did a little bit of everything, which has become a consistent theme for him lately. Like he has turned himself into way more than just I'm going to stand behind the 3-point line and shoot threes. And it's worked wonders for the way he plays. So shout out Jrue Holiday for
he's back.
Revenge game, if you want to call it that.
It's incredible that this guy, well, also revenge game is right. Even though Taylor Jenkins wasn't there to see it. So I'd imagine he was somewhat of the mastermind behind what we saw at the Garden. But the fact that we've seen Jrue Holiday just come back from the dead after hurting a finger on his shooting hand is incredible. He said it earlier this week. He's like, it's basically just like I have 4 fingers on my shooting hand now. That's how he has to operate. That's not an easy transition. Like, I had some, I don't think it was mount finger, but I had some injury to my pinky last year and I had to play with tape on my fingers. It was the most bizarre feeling ever. And I had to do it for a while. Like, I finally got somewhat comfortable shooting that way. But when I finally took the tape off, it was night and day. Like, worlds easier to shoot with all 5 fingers. Don't think I'm really sticking my neck out to say this, but just to put it in perspective for people like watching Holiday and being like, damn, it's about time. Like, is it about time? Oh yeah. Like, I think Holiday could have been a lot better this season. I'll say it again. I really think he was just dealing with like shoulder stuff and annoying, like nagging injuries that were holding him back a little bit. Hopefully he's feeling overall pretty healthy now. And if he is, watch out. Like, he's going to be Swiss Army knife guy for the playoffs again. Like, he was so important to them last year. I can't wait to see how they use him this year.
Yeah, shout out Jrue Holiday, man. Just so good. He's been so good. Jayson Tatum also.
Go ahead with Tatum. We don't need to do that.
No, go. I want to know what you're going to say. You have the smile on your face that it's going to be something either like funny or stupid, and I want to hear it either way.
Probably both. He does take like the, oh man, you really just are feeling the best you could ever feel.
He does the step back, the step back threes.
Like he made a couple threes and then came down and posted up Jaren Jackson Jr. and tried to shoot a fadeaway on him and got blocked. It's just like Jrue Holiday goes into heat check mode. And I mean, I guess like they're earned heat checks, but he's somebody I don't think we ever have to sit here and worry about confidence with. Like, he's not quite at the Marcus level of like, this dude is going to shoot no matter what, but he's like pretty close.
Indeed. It's probably why Bucks fans were so mad at him by the end of his tenure in Milwaukee, but it's just perfect on this team because he doesn't have to do it as often. So shout out to Jrue. Jayson Tatum. He's awesome, man. He only had 2 assists in this game. He absolutely should have had more, but it felt like more of his passes were, I'm going to swing to this guy who's going to swing it again. Like, it felt like he had a lot of hockey assists in this game, which there's no stat for. But 25 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 of 24, 2 of 11 from 3. The threes weren't falling, but that means he was what? The 8 of 13 inside the arc. He was a beast. Only got to the line 3 times. That is not a reflection of how well he got inside. Yeah, I mean, if you watch this game, this man was getting inside the paint constantly, and just it was what it was.
They let him play both ways for what it's worth.
Except there was something. I thought these refs were really fucking bad.
I mean, there was a sequence towards the end of the game where Tatum was like really fucking mad and he got the tech, and that came after a sequence where it was up and down, just guys getting hacked, and they didn't call it.
I know. I don't think it was like bad in terms of it hurt the Celtics. I think these refs were just really awful and just didn't call.
Tatum actually was so good that he scored for the other team today.
Exactly.
He did. He scored.
I mean,
we won prize.
Durant 2 hands pushed Kristaps Porzingis into the crowd. They just were like, we're not
what are you gonna do?
Anything. Call it. It's a tech. What do you mean? What are you gonna do? That's that is the easiest tech call you could ever possibly like draw up. Like, if you go to like ref school and they're like, "What's a tech?" Like, oh, here's an example. If this guy pushes somebody else, it's probably a tech. Like, I feel like that's just.
Let me ask you this: if you're a ref, right? Do you ever have techs that apply to like the and one rule where if it goes in, you don't blow the whistle, but if it misses, you have to call it? Like, imagine Ja. Like, look at Ja. Ja's like built like me. He's not very like muscular. If he like tried to push Kristaps and Kristaps didn't move, which he probably like naturally would do if he wasn't embellishing, do you think that's a tech? Like, do you think like, or do you just kind of like let him kind of sit with that and think about what
if Kristaps fell, it would have been a tech. 100%.
Yes, that's what I mean. But he
did, which is dumb. Yes, it's stupid. I think it's dumb. If Jayson Tatum went up and just like pushed Desmond Bain, would it have been a tech?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Regardless, Tatum's been great, man. He was forcing his way inside in this game, which was super fun to watch. He was bullying Scottie Pippen Jr. a lot of this game. They were throwing a ton of doubles at Jayson Tatum, and he just swung, and the Celtics did a good job of keeping the ball flowing around the perimeter and finding the open shot. So shout out to him. Celtics took 62 threes in this game because that's what the game plan called for, because that's what the Grizzlies were giving up. And I mean, shit, man, when you have Al Horford make 6, Kristaps and Derek White make 3 apiece, and Jrue Holiday make 4, you're probably going to be pretty all right.
The Tatum threes today were not good. It didn't matter. Like, I'm not going to complain too much about it. There are a lot of games this year where we watched Tatum take 11 threes, and you're like, like, whatever. Like, those were ball movement, like, flow of the offense, catch and shoot looks, like, whatever. Today, we saw him get in the bag and be like, watch this. Like, after he accidentally tips the ball in for Memphis, he comes down and just is like, I'm going to get this back. Watch this. And I feel like these misses from him are actually, like, slightly alarming, where it doesn't feel like they're all that close. It's not like watching somebody hit the back rim. Like, Tatum is either overshooting like real bad, where he's borderline missing everything and hitting the backboard, or he's just off in his directional. That's something to monitor a little bit, I think, down the stretch.
He's been really cold. Like, just since the All-Star break. Let me take a look.
Similar to last season in the postseason, where he was
since the All-Star break, Tatum's been shooting 32% from 3. And then last year, post All-Star break, he was shooting, if this will load. I want to see if there's a big difference. Last year, post All-Star break, heading into the playoffs, Tatum was shooting. Let's see. Are you gonna? NBA.com is not wanting to cooperate right now.
It always wants to nuke my computer.
He shot 41% post All-Star break last year. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he's getting all of his misses out of the way.
The playoffs, yeah.
Exactly, for the playoffs. So we'll see what happens with him, though. Derek White, 4-13, 3 of 11, 10 assists. I feel like Derek White's been having like 7 to 10 assist games every single night now.
Something to monitor for prize.
I know. I need to pinpoint exactly what it is. He had 2 blocks as well, 8 rebounds, 14 points. He was great. Not the most efficient, but he was very impactful. Feels like they're allowing him to run the offense a bit more. He ran a lot of pick and roll with Kristaps today. Tatum was very active as like an off-ball cutter in this one. You saw a little bit of it in that Suns game where it got somebody open, and they got a lot of open shots off Tatum cuts today, and he didn't even touch the ball on some of them. And that means they need someone to run the offense. And when he was doing that, it felt like Derek White had the ball in his hands a lot. So Derek White was making things happen as a connector in this game, as the lead ball handler for long stretches, which was good.
I think some of that has to do with Jalen being out too. Which even if Jalen plays at this point, with some of the games we've seen from Jalen lately, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't mind putting the responsibility more on Derek because I think he's earned that. This was an efficient high assist game for Derek too. Like, only 1 turnover for 10 assists. Pretty like close to exactly what you would ask. The only thing you could be like is, what if you just didn't turn it over? But that's a little too mean. No A plus, I guess, if you really want from that category from Derek. He had the cold stretch where, again, on the broadcast, they were like, could this be the 3 that breaks the record? And it was like, no. And then no again, and no again, and no again. And I was like, please just stop saying Celtics 3-point record. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah. Fun fact, Gary Washburn tweeted, Al's 26 are the most he scored in the regular season since rejoining the Celtics, which is crazy. That's wild.
It was one of the highest scoring games he's ever had as a Celtic, period.
Yeah, it's up there. 26 is real good. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about Derek. Oh, but bet your ass he made the one in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
By the way,
obviously.
You know what that possession made me think about was how far they've come as an offense late in the game. You used to really just get sucked into Tatum Brown ISOs, which is kind of how that happened, and Tatum beat his man. But then the ball just flew around, and they got the Grizzlies in rotation, and that's really, I think, what we've been asking for forever from them late in games. And it's one of the reasons why we are like, holy shit, this guy Derek is incredible late in the fourth quarter, because they're just generating good looks. Like, yes, finally, we're finally getting, not finally as if it hasn't happened under Missoula, but it was just a reminder of how good we all have it at the moment.
I mean, I said this and wrote about this recently. Like, people get so mad at the one-on-one play and like, they don't move the ball, just play one-on-one. It's like looking at it wrong. They play one-on-one so they can move the ball. Like, it's not like, and that's what has improved so much about the Celtics offense, is they are so good at breaking down one-on-ones that leads to good ball movement. So it's been a good trend. It's been a good progression.
Another offense thing. There was the play in this game. I think Tatum was like complaining about a foul call. And he didn't get back. And then the Celtics played 4-on-5 on offense, and Horford got a wide open 3. Like, it was actually hilarious. They had the number. They were on, like, it was like a shorthanded goal in hockey, but he was wide open. It wasn't even like he made a tough shot. Wide open in the corner. Nobody was guarding him. The Grizzlies were like, what do? We have an extra guy. Like, should we guard everybody? And he's just wide open. I wish I knew which one it was. I would like pull up the clip because I was in disbelief. I was like, how did that happen? 4-on-5. Missoula ball.
PrizePicks, we won. We won a PrizePicks finally. I need to tell you about PrizePicks and no better time. Way to swear during the ad read. Smart. I need to tell you about PrizePicks. I'll start it here. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Sam and I do the PrizePicks every single pregame show. We were 0-16-2 up to this point in the season. We finally won. We took the more on the Demon Time Jrue Holiday triples. Yeah, he made 3. We took the more on Tatum, 14.5 rebounds plus assists. He didn't have a lot of assists, but he had 14 rebounds. That helped us out. We took the more on John Morant, 18.5 points, and he had 26. So we managed to get it a win in that. So make sure to check out PrizePicks. It's the best place to get real money sports action. And we can now, put the money where our mouth is, I suppose, literally.
What if we never lose again?
But it would be nice. But that's not going to happen. Best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states: California, Texas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Florida, more, all that good stuff. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesday, which discounts select player projections up to 25%. It's a lot of fun when you do in the pregame. And so download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Okay, back to this game. What was I going to say? Oh, Tatum, when he got that tech, you talking about it reminded me. Joe Mazzulla was not happy when Tatum got that tech. Did you see the camera pan?
Yeah, he was just like, man, like, come on, man. He was just like, get it together. Grizzlies are pushing back late in the fourth quarter. It's like enough to where you kind of like sit up in your chair. You're like, wait, what's going on? I thought they were just up 15. Why is it about to be 8? And then Tatum's like, you know what? I really think the refs were mean to me, so I'm going to let them have it.
Like I said, I think the refs were really not good, but regardless, there's just
20
no
brothers.
I thought Derek White was about to get attacked. Like, that's how much. If Derek White's complaining that much, listen, man, I'm not saying there's an indicator, but if you got Derek White and Al Horford, going over and complaining, then maybe there's a little something going on. Regardless, looking through the rest of here, we mentioned it. Tillman got the start against his old team. Joe Mazzulla talked about it after the game. I'll pull up the exact quote just so I don't misquote it, but Tillman was traded from the Grizzlies to the Celtics last year. After the game, was asked about the decision to start Xavier Tillman. He said, you have moments where you're able to validate the entire roster. X can still impact winning. Yeah, he was 0-5, but he got 2 big rebounds. Also mentioned that Edie hitting Edie with fouls and forcing a steal, says he still thinks Tillman can help them. For as little minutes he played 7:49 in this game. He did have like Zach Edey in hell for like 3 minutes. Like Zach Edey picked up like 3 fouls immediately because X was just being a pain in the ass. So X didn't hit the threes. He didn't hit any of the threes, and he got plenty of open ones. But he was good on the glass. He was fine. It was nice of Mazzulla to give him that chance. It was a good thing to see him offer that I don't want to say olive branch, but he gave him a
opportunity.
Chance. Opportunity. So it was fine. X wasn't great, but
the first stint was okay. Disastrous. Like he actually had like a pretty decent start to this game where you're like, oh, like he's actually like defending pretty well. He had a nice defensive stand, I think, against Jaren Jackson. They should have gave him a block for this. I don't think they did, where he really impacted the shot, made him miss.
He's got a steal. Maybe that's it.
Maybe it's a steal. And I was like, oh, man, is he back? And then they start him in the second half, and they just treat him like he was Ben Simmons. And then all of a sudden, Memphis was winning.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. Bench guys.
Get it.
Pritchard. What?
Like, Tillman shoots threes well. You're there. You see it.
I see it.
They were giving him the warm-up practice threes as if it's him and Craig out there shooting around. I don't get it.
He's just confidence. I don't know what it is. He's not very good, man. He's not connecting. Bench, Pritchard, 2 of 6, 1 of 5, 5.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He had 2 offensive boards in classic Pritchard fashion where he just like snaked his way into the defense. Sam Hauser was fine, 2 of 6 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Baylor didn't do much, but he got in the game for 6 minutes. It was a fine showing from the bench, but Joe Mazzulla really depended on the top 6 in this game, it felt like, for long stretches.
Yeah, it's weird. We've gotten to a point with Pritchard where he has set a standard for himself now, and we're just like, only 2 of 6? Not shit game, but
1 of 5
game.
for Pritchard.
Yeah, just like, what? And the one he made was like the lucky roll where he hit the front rim and it bounced over. It was a good shot. Like Pritchard, the good thing about him is you never feel like he takes you out of a game. He doesn't get wrapped up in trying to create shots for himself if he doesn't have it, which is a really important quality for him to have as the bench guy, the bucket getter. But you mentioned it, like still all over the glass, 6 rebounds. This, what, 4th most on the team? A lot of guys got a lot of rebounds today.
A lot of rebounds.
This is 6 rebounds from 6'1" Peyton Pritchard is never anything to sneeze at. And 2 of them on the offensive glass is almost more impressive. He just has a nose for the ball and is going to battle if he's on the floor. So
yeah,
he still got good minutes. Didn't let the off shooting night affect him, which is what you want to see. Hauser continues to make threes in a way where you remember the threes. He made a couple big ones in the second quarter, I think. And it was when the Celtics were trying to eclipse the early lead that Memphis had built, and they needed him to make those shots. It was something I focused a lot on last year when we would talk in the playoffs and just be talking about like clutch moments in games that aren't clutch time. As much as I buried Hauser 2 months ago, he has shown up in like those various points throughout games, especially as of late, it feels like to me.
My biggest thing with Hauser is 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 25 minutes. Like he continues to do all that stuff, and I think that's where I'm gonna lay my cap and say like this is what's most important for him. And The threes will go in when the threes go in, and he's going to continue to get open threes because that's the nature of the Celtics offense, and he's going to keep taking them, and they'll go in at a probably 40% clip. But if he can continue to do the rest of that, that's very, very important, very, very impactful for the Celtics. Outside of that, I don't know how much there was. I was really happy with the Celtics defense this game. I thought they played really, really well. Especially, they said it on the broadcast, like in the half court was particularly good. The transition got a little sloppy because that's kind of what the Grizzlies do. But they were on a string with rotations. They were pressuring the right places. They were forcing the people they wanted to take shots. Santi Aldama got 18 shots in this game, 12 threes. That's not a coincidence. They were like, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Go shoot a bunch of shots. And they played great. Scal kept saying it on the broadcast, and he's so right. Jaren Jackson Jr. is really fucking good. Like he's unbelievable, and he only got 16 shots because of the Celtics pressure and forcing them to go to certain guys. So credit to them for that. Santi Aldama took the second most shots on this team. That's a win. Like that's what you want to do for the Celtics, and I thought they did a great job with their defensive connectivity in the half court, especially.
Did they reverse Jrue Holiday, the Grizzlies?
A little bit,
pretty much.
More subtly, but absolutely they did.
After watching this game, Jack, do you have any thoughts on the Grizzlies? Like, do you feel like, just thinking about like these other teams in the West, like Grizzlies, they had a strong start to this season, like where they were second in the West for a little while when we were talking about the standings, and then it's just like, well, do I view them similar to Denver or Golden State or the Lakers or Houston?
I'm still pretty high on Memphis.
You think so?
Relatively.
Even with the coach firing?
You got to put it in the non-Celtics context, right? Because it's so easy to sit here and look like, well, if you guard like that, you're not going to do shit. You can guard like that against most teams. That's why the Celtics are so good, because they are the exception to the rule. But like, you guard like this against the Lakers and leave Jackson Hayes open. You guard like this against the Thunder and leave, Isaiah Hartenstein, give him space, or Kenrich Williams when he's on the floor and don't guard him. Like, there are teams where you can get away with this type of thing. And if Ja Morant is on fire like he was in this game in the pick and roll, which they talked about on the broadcast, like he wants to run that more. Then when he's off the floor, they run the sort of filter back in offense that Scal was talking about, which I thought he actually broke down pretty well. Like they can be good, and they've got really good players. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. is awesome. He had 15 rebounds and 20 points in this game, and he could have stood to take more shots. Desmond Bane only took 11 shots in this game because he got in a little foul trouble. He was 4 fouls, so he probably could have taken more shots. Jalen Wells was really good. He could have probably gotten a little more action. Like they've got really good players. Gigi Jackson didn't even play, right? Like it feels like they have room to grow. I don't know who I would pick them in a series against. I don't know what their first round
matchup where it becomes tough.
Gonna look like. I would, but I say that, but I don't think I would necessarily like immediately pick against them in any series. Like if you tell me it's Grizzlies Lakers, I say that's probably going 7. If you tell me it's Grizzlies Rockets, I say that's probably going 7. If you tell me it's Grizzlies Warriors, I'm saying that's probably going 7. Like I think they can put a series to 7 against any team, and then you're just talking about a 1-game situation where could they win? Yeah, but are they definitely gonna win? No. So I'm relatively high in the Grizzlies. I said earlier this season, like before the coach firing, and that definitely muddies the water a little bit, but like if I had to pick a sneaky team to make a run in the West, it's probably be Memphis. I don't know if I still believe that because of the Jenkins thing, and the Warriors have been hot, so it's probably them. But Grizzlies have the bodies, have the defense, have the scoring, have the stuff. They don't have enough, in my opinion, consistent 3-point shooting to like really, really go far. But I think they're annoying enough and have good enough offensive schemes to be a pain in the ass in the West.
I mean, they beat the Celtics earlier this year. They were beating up on them again in the first quarter tonight. Like they showed the flash. They showed they have it. I just question their presence against these other teams, and like their recent stretch hasn't been good. Like they're cold at the wrong time, but that's neither here nor there. People didn't come here to hear us talk about Memphis's playoff hopes, at least this part of the podcast. Best part of this game, we got a jawgun celebration. And Scal actually had like a legitimate funny comment about it. Good job, Scal.
It's like, that was a telescope.
Like actual Scal W. It doesn't happen very often.
Unironically, so the Celtics ended up with 117 in this game because they got hot. It's going to sound silly for me to say this. You kind of felt the absence of Jaylen Brown, obviously, but also Luke Cornett. Like their offense looked really clunky for a lot. Their offense looked really clunky for like the first quarter and a half of this game before the 3 started falling. Like they just couldn't find open shots. They were trying to feed Kristaps mismatches and it wasn't really working. They were trying to find Tatum mismatches and it wasn't really working. You miss Jalen because he probably would have been posting up Desmond Bane and Ja Morant a lot more. And you miss Cornett because he gets Tatum open on a lot of these screens, which is obviously they put it together and the 3 started falling, so it was fine. But I do think that was a noticeable difference. But anything else you want to talk about before you throw it over?
No, I got the jaw joke in.
All right, let's throw it over the rest of the show. All right, welcome back. Let's check out your emails. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. You know what my friends were saying the other day? They said we should do a voicemail segment. Like we should have people call in and give their voices. I think we've done it very briefly way in the past before we had an actual audience. But let us know if you guys would like that. Is that better than emails? You guys want that? I mean, theoretically, we could do a Discord, have people send in their voice memos there, and then go over it. But I don't know. My friends brought that up, and I thought it was an interesting idea.
We would have to screen them first.
Of course, obviously, we'd have to screen them first. But regardless, let's go to the email here. First up, we have RJ. Crazy little thing called love. We did this song in show choir. Even folks, congratulations to the Celtics for clinching the number 2 seed in the East with their win over the Spurs. Remember when Mikal Bridges was going to be the Knicks Celtics stopper, or was that Cat? In addition to winning, the Celtics look like they're having fun playing ball in different styles depending on the night and the opponent. They even survived the great JT ankle scare by beating Sacramento by 18 and Phoenix by 30. The undermanned Spurs put up more of a battle. Given that everyone is spending more time talking about the Celtics offseason roster shuffling the game results, I took a crack at it too on Celtics blog with the 3 25-26 roster scenarios for the Celtics. 2 of them are the ones that everyone's throwing around. The third one might surprise you. Anyways, let's all enjoy these last 2 weeks of the season. Who knows if Sharman is channeling his inner Rondo? Maybe Jordan Walsh can unlock his inner Tony Allen or Avery Bradley. I almost combined the two.
Speaking of Tony Bradley,
did you see the 3 he took in the Pacers game? Is that exactly what you're going to bring up?
Pull it up.
Hold up. Let me finish the email first, then I will. Be well, RJ, who was happy to hear Jrue mention the current squad in the same breath as the 80s team tonight. Shout out. Let me pull up the Tony Bradley 3, and then we can read the 3 scenarios that RJ outlined, excuse me, in his article. Okay, Tony Bradley 3. Surely it just comes up if I search that on Twitter. Yeah, here we go. So Tony Bradley's on the Pacers now. They signed him to a 10-day, and the Wizards announcer had all the fun with this. Take a listen.
Bradley, he's going to shoot a 3.
It must have slipped out of his head because it hit the backboard. It went
for the audio listeners, Tony Bradley shot a 3 and it went behind the backboard.
My man didn't stop laughing for a whole minute. Like he was laughing. Great. Man, it was like me the day we played GeoGuessr and it was just all cornfields. Every single time, like it just got worse. Like that is the reaction you got from the announcer. But let's take a look at the scenarios. See what we got here.
So 1 and 1A are basically just trading Jrue or Kristaps. Like one is trading Jrue, one is trading Kristaps. The third one is if the Celtics bring in Banner 19, don't trade anyone, can bring back everybody. Listen, I would love that. That'd be phenomenal. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe like a 3% chance. Why screw around with it is because it would drastically alter their ability to make future moves. We'll see. Maybe they just say screw the CBA and go for it, but I think their hands will be a bit tied. But regardless,
I think it just boils down to like the front office's confidence in the current group going forward. Like that's ultimately what it is. Because if you feel good about it, then you're not as worried about the future moves. But you kind of always want to monitor that because you don't want to get stuck if something goes wrong.
Yeah, it's just a really tough spot. But RJ again says, what I like about this recent stretch, even folks, I know late March basketball doesn't carry a lot of scintillating moments, but I've really enjoyed the Celtics run this month for the team play that has shown up. Everyone is contributing as they are able and moving forward or back in the spotlight as the game requires. It's been pretty ball to watch, even in a game like the Spurs match where San Antonio scuffled, yet the Celtics never had a sense of entitlement about the outcome of the game. They stayed focused and won the game in front of them by respecting and meeting the opposition head on. That's what I want to see a championship contender do. Enjoy the ride and be well, RJ. They have been playing really, really well lately. I know this West isn't exactly filled with a bunch of contenders and stuff, and the Grizzlies game is probably the hardest in the on paper category. The Blazers have been playing good ball. The Suns were on a 5-game win streak when they played them. The Spurs played them tough. Like they played good basketball, took care of business, and pretty much murdered almost everyone on this road trip. So that's a big win.
Yeah, they've just been. I mean, fingers crossed they beat Memphis, but they have been on a fucking mission. They have won 8 straight. As the two of us are talking, if they beat Memphis, it'll be 9 straight. It's kind of the time of year you want to hit your stride. You hear about it a lot in baseball in particular, just because it has a lot to do in their playoffs with who is hot, and you can ride hot bats all the way to the World Series. The NBA is not quite the same. It's probably the most controlled of all the major sports in terms of when the playoffs roll around, you kind of know who to expect to be successful. But you've had guys on the Celtics this year be cold. Gary Washburn just did a write-up about Jrue Holiday and his reemergence this month, and it's been really important to see guys like that just look more comfortable, look well-fitted within the offense, and that stuff is very important. These games, as much as we sit here and we're not particularly looking for a lot, the Celtics are giving us the things that they want us to look for. Like, we're seeing all positives right now. It's very good news.
Indeed. Last email from Philip says, changing taste. Philip says, fellas, I became a Celtics fan when I moved to Massachusetts 11 years ago from Memphis. Coming from the grit and grind Grizzlies to the rebuilding Celtics, it was a no-brainer that Marcus Smart was my favorite player. Even when we drafted Brown and Tatum, signed Al, had Gordon, had Kyrie, etc., in my opinion, no one embodied a competitive attitude more than Smart. Then he disappeared. When we had lunch in Boston, I shared that I didn't really have a favorite player on the team after Smart left. Maybe D. White if I had to answer. Well, that's changed these last few months. We can again see a player on the Celtics that is consistently physically dominant, scrappy, and competitive. He wants to play and win every game. He's relentless on mismatches and pushes his weight around. He's been in Boston for a while, but hidden behind a veil of casual demeanor and whining to referees, but that's gone. I speak, of course, of Jayson Tatum. He's now my favorite Celtics player to watch. I know he's already one of the most popular players in the league, excuse me, and it seems like I am just late to join the bandwagon, but in my eyes, JT has turned the corner in his confidence and attitude that genuinely make it more pleasurable to watch. Instead of being concerned for his stats, he focuses on the victory. He accepts the double teams and has evolved his passing. Instead of settling for too many three-point shots, JT muscles his way to the shots he wants. Instead of whining to the refs, he yells at them. Simply put, he's more of a gritty player lately. Maybe it was partially Ime's influence. Maybe it was Marcus leaving and there being a leadership vacuum. Maybe it was all the disrespect in the summer. Maybe he's just maturing. I can't say for sure, but I can say that it's more of a pleasure to watch him play now than ever. Thoughts on JT? Do you agree about him changing / evolving? All the best, Phil. I definitely think these past few weeks are the most, let me rephrase, the best version of JT we've ever seen. Like the most determined to get the shot he wants, the most willing to adapt his play style to whatever the team needs to win. He really hasn't been like letting the refs affect him as much. Every once in a while it's going to happen. Like that's what happens with stars. And for what it's worth, I think we've always said this, does feel like he gets kind of a shit whistle compared to some other stars around the league. But he's been great. It's been fun to watch him play ball. Yeah, man, he's really good. Even Colin Cowherd, who has been shitting on JT all season, came around and said he's that Iron Man. So that should tell you something.
I almost sent that to you today. I was like, Cowherd coming around. He's just like Tatum's the heartbeat of the NBA or whatever he said. And he like had the first guy out on the floor, like really good things to say about him and so on. Tatum, it does feel like he's starting to grow up. Maybe the championship did a lot for him in terms of feeling validated. It's something we talked a lot about over the summer, just because I think we were excited to see what would come of it. Because when he first became an all-star in 2020, it moved mountains for him in his game and his confidence and his comfort. Looked like a completely different player after the selection was announced. I think there is a different but similar effect it's had on him this year where it doesn't feel like he has to go get all the numbers, especially in the scoring category. But now you're seeing more well-rounded play from him on a consistent basis. Every night it's a near triple-double. He never quite gets the triple-double. You always see on the broadcast they're monitoring the triple-double, but it never happens. He is just willing to do whatever it takes. He's always been a really great rebounder, but that playmaking has come a long way, and it's been far better. Teams try and triple team him. It's comedy. It doesn't work.
Sorry, you cut off a little bit when you said a pleasure to watch, but I pieced it together based on the consonants that I heard you say. He has been a pleasure to watch.
Pleasure having class.
Regardless. Exactly. Before we move on to the NBA, I need to tell you guys about Gametime. Gametime is the best place for all your ticketing needs this basketball season, down the stretch here into the playoffs, as well as baseball, which is coming up very, very quickly. We used Gametime. My roommates and I were looking to buy Red Sox tickets recently. We got to use Gametime to check out which seats we want. We're going to a game soon. I'm very excited for baseball season. Living in the city now, it's kind of like very cool that I can just jump on the tee and go to a game. Or I mean, it's a 40-minute walk. Like I could go walk to Fenway right now. It's fire. I'm very excited, but let's hop in game time. Let's see what we've got cooking up. We've looked at some baseball games lately. Let's switch it up. Let's see the tournament or any tournament games here. Final Four, very expensive, but let's check out the seats for this stadium here. So it's a bit of a weird venue because it's the Final Four, but it's in a football stadium. However, luckily with Game Time, you can see exactly what you'll be seeing. It shows a football field here, but it shows you the seat you're getting in the exact arena, which is very useful because you can see here on the chart exactly where the court is going to be. You can see the star that tells you it's a super deal. You can see this right here is an amazing deal. You can see the cheapest price in the stadium as well, if I can find it, is the Fire Emblem right here, which is the cheapest, and you can still see the view to the center court right there. You can toggle on and off fees, so you know exactly what you're paying. Well, you can't toggle the fees off, but you can toggle whether or not you see them. Which means you'll know the exact price you are playing and won't get surprised with any surprise fees at the end of your checkout process. Game Time also comes with the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, as well as Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. All right, let's check in with the NBA standings, see what's going on around the league, see who's playing well, see who's playing bad, and go from there. Eastern Conference is as dry as a discussion as it's ever been, at the top at the very least. Cavs still in first, 4.5 games up. It almost wasn't, but it is. I will say this point differential is now looking like the Celtics and Cavs are very close because they are. But Cavs hit 60 wins, 16-15. Celtics close behind them in second place. Knicks a bit further behind in third, but they are pretty much guaranteed to lock up that 3 spot over the Pacers. Pacers, Pistons, Bucks still scrapping it out in the 4, 5, 6. They're each 1.5 games apart from each other. Pacers above the Pistons, Pistons above the Bucks. Then you get to the play-in, which is a crapshoot. Hawks, Magic in the 7-8, Bulls, Heat in the 9-10. Raptors still technically aren't eliminated, but they're about to be. And then Nets, Sixers, Hornets, Wizards are officially out.
Raptors doing everything they can to stay alive. 4 straight wins. They're not letting the dream die just yet.
I know, and the Heat have won 4 straight too. Imagine if they didn't, then it'd get real interesting really quick.
The Heat were back from the dead. The Heat were dead. They'd lost, 10 in a row? They were on, fake Pistons watch because they couldn't possibly tie the record in this season, but they'd lost a considerable amount of games in a row. Yeah, we almost had a really fun end to the season, actually, with the Cavs. If the Cavs had lost to the Clippers on Sunday, Celtics would only be 3.5 games back. If the Celtics had beaten Memphis, it would have been 3, and then it would have been eyeballs for the rest of the way. Now it feels pretty safe to say that they're just not going to try and catch them, and they won't catch them. I don't know how the tiebreaker is going to work. I know I think it goes division then conference, or conference and division, since they split the season series. And it's still possible Cleveland could drop to 11 losses in conference. Not likely, so if I was a Celtics fan, I would start focusing on the 7-8 game, which right now is Atlanta versus Orlando. Atlanta's been playing decent ball. Ricochet just had a big game, first pick in the draft, for those of you that might have forgotten about it, because I had somebody over the weekend ask me who the first pick in the draft was, because you have the Wemby class the year before, and then you have this year's Cooper Flagg class. Last year, there was no headliner. So, yes, it was Ricochet. He had a 36 ball against the Bucks yesterday, I think. They just beat up on Milwaukee.
Yep.
They're playing decent. They still don't have Jalen Johnson, but they have some guys that are willing to scrap. Dyson Daniels has been a story all season long. Then Orlando just has been the deadest of the dead on offense. Their
offense is so bad.
Well, not by far. They are neck and neck with the Charlotte Hornets and Brooklyn Nets for the conference's worst offense.
They are the only team in the top 9 that averages fewer than 110. And the next closest to their 105.1 is 114.5. Not very good.
You said top 8?
Top 10. Look at the Bulls.
Miami.
They average 117. I said top 9. I think maybe I didn't.
You just said top 10, then you changed it to top 9.
I swear I said top 9. I meant top 9.
You might have said
Miami's
it first,
at 109.
I was like, what'd you say?
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Well, then maybe
they're still the worst.
They stink. They stink. They're bad. They're bad at offense. They have a worse offense than the Wizards. That tells you all you need to know. Western Conference, Thunder up top at 62-12. They're incredible. Yes. Rockets in second, 2 games above the Nuggets, who are in third, who are 1.5 games above the Lakers. Lakers, Grizzlies, Warriors in the 4, 5, 6, 1 game above each other. Warriors are only half a game above the Timberwolves and 1 game above the Clippers, who are in 8th. That's 6 through 8, maybe 5 through 8 at this point is going to get really tight down the stretch of the season. The gap between 5 and 8 is only 2 games. Mavericks are in 9th again because the Kings lost and the Suns keep losing and the Blazers keep losing and the Mavs with AD have won 2 in a row. Exactly. AD is bringing them up into the play-in again. And then Suns and Blazers. Suns are a game and a half behind the 10 seed. They can't make up their mind. Blazers are 4.5 games back. They're dead now, unfortunately, as are the Spurs, who are 5 games back, which sucks because it would have been fun to see one of those 2 teams in. But we're probably going to get Mavs Kings, which is still more fun than the Suns, who I just, I don't care. Just get them out. They're boring.
The Suns are so bad. I had their game against Houston on for a little bit last night. And first of all, it was an absolute whomping from the moment I turned it on. It was like a 26-point game at half or something crazy like that. There was this dust up. Dylan Brooks gets tossed. Bill Kennedy, the official, goes to the monitor to make the announcement and has like this massive comedic pause of like, and being ejected. And he pauses for like 3 seconds. He's like, Dylan Brooks ejected from this game. Like just building suspense for the announcement. Here it is.
He hit. I'm serious. He hit.
After reviewing the play, there are a number of technical fouls have been issued. Technical foul on Durant. Technical foul on Richards. And 2 technical fouls on Brooks. And he has been ejected.
He's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT. He's just the GOAT. I love him so much. He's the fucking GOAT. He's the best. He's incredible. I love him. Bill Kennedy is by far my favorite ref in the NBA. Just fucking all-time shit.
He knows it's nonsense. He doesn't like the announcements. I guess we can stick with that game quickly because this isn't something that's going to last very long. But Durant smoked his ankle. Nasty ankle roll in that game. He may be out for the rest of the season. We haven't gotten any kind of update about what is going on with KD. From a Celtics perspective, if you bought tickets to see the Suns play at the Garden on Friday, kind of sucks. Would have liked to see KD in that game just because KD rocks. But he rolled his ankle. Also, he rolled his ankle like when it was like a 40-point game or something. Like, it was just like, why? Like, of all the times you could hurt yourself, that has to be the most frustrating because it made no difference if he was out there or not.
Yeah. How bad was the ankle sprain? Should I pull it up? Was it that bad?
I mean, it's like shoe goes inward, ankle borderline touches the floor.
Okay, let's just talk about this. Let's rearrange a little bit. We'll go to Suns because I mean we're talking about the Suns game. Kevin Durant sprained his ankle, as Sam said. Let me pull up the video. So if you don't want to see if you don't want to see an ankle sprain and you're watching on YouTube,
can we put a sensor on it?
Don't watch, no, because you're asking me. You want me to go in and find this and give me a break, man. I'm not editing that. Here's the ankle.
There we go. Low top shoes, by the way.
Unfortunately, is why.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad.
I told you it wasn't good.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad ankle sprain. Also, you ever want an ad for don't wear low top shoes? Watch this. Look at this step. Not even the ankle sprain. Watch the step before. He almost turns his fucking ankle there because he's wearing low tops. What are we doing?
I'm a firm non-believer in low tops. I know we've talked about this before, and I think it might have even been Philip was like, actually, it's not bad, and they're proven to be like better for your ankles or whatever, and you're more at risk with the high tops, which might be true.
Sure.
And you can roll your ankle in high tops. It can happen.
Yeah, absolutely, you can.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I've been wearing the Tatum 3s. They're very nice. I love them.
You
They're
got
so
some?
comfy. Oh yeah. I got them for Christmas.
Hey, rock. Which ones
They're
do you
so
get?
good.
Just the regular ones?
The Garden. Yeah, just the normal. The Gardens. Very comfy. But yeah, Durant's probably gonna be out for a little bit. Maybe they just shut him down. Who knows?
Last game is the Sun, probably.
Could be, probably. And then we get back to the where's Durant gonna go conversations, which we can have this summer instead.
And we get to talk about his trade value. Does his trade value go down because of the ankle?
No, absolutely not. Regardless, next thing, Zach Lowe back. My goat of NBA podcasting. The guy who was wronged by ESPN because they wanted to keep Perk on board. Embarrassing. He's with the Ringer now, doing the Zach Lowe show. Great name, obvious name, the most free name of all time. Like, duh. Shout out Zach Lowe. Glad to see him back. Very excited. That was one of my always got to listen to the Zach Lowe pod. So I'm pumped.
I'm excited. We're getting a Simmons Lowe team up at some point on Tuesday for the Simmons pod. Haven't gotten to listen to the Simmons Russillo pod from Sunday. It's one of my favorite weekly drops. It's excellent this time of year. Always hype when the playoffs are close by and you're monitoring the end of the season. Just some of the best over there. It's great that Zach Lowe's back. Really strange that they decided to do this now, even though I think there's still ground to be covered in the playoffs with that. So it's not like they're not getting any miles off of Zach Lowe this year, but you think they would have got right on this right from maybe he wanted some time off.
Yeah, maybe there's a mix of Zach's figuring out his next moves. Maybe he was like, I know he got let go from ESPN, but maybe he's like, hey, can I have this, the show name, the Low Post? Like, can I figure this out? And he's like fighting with them because Low Post wasn't even on Spotify anymore. Like, I don't even think you can find the episodes.
Really?
Well, I searched today. I searched Zach Lowe on Spotify. I was like, oh, let me see if the new show's out yet. And I'm pretty sure ESPN just got rid of the Low Post. No, it's still here. I lied. It's still here, but yeah, I do wonder how much of that was like him figuring stuff out with the ESPN wanting time off. But glad to see him back in the NBA space. Zach Lowe rocks. I'm very excited. As a guy who likes to do basketball play breakdowns and stuff, it's great to see Zach Lowe in the game. We need more of that. Next thing, Pistons Wolves fight. There was a fight in Pistons Wolves. I'm just gonna pull it up so we can watch. There was 6 ejections, including 2 coaches, or 7 ejections, including 2 coaches. Something silly. Bleacher Report posted it. It's a long video, but it's a good watch. So we can take a look here. If you're watching on YouTube, and you can listen if you're listening on audio. Here you go.
Holland was a really good high school player. Good fake. Reed turned the corner and is fouled by Holland.
We have a finger wag for those listening. Naz Reid, Ron Holland go at it. DiVincenzo gets involved, and the cameraman gets smoked.
Big time brawl now in the front row. It's going to take a lot to break this up. You got to stay out of the crowd.
Yeah, they dip into the crowd. Isaiah Stewart's on Dante DiVincenzo. We're ready
Obviously
to fly
involved.
them. Yep. So is Marcus Sasser. Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid get ejected. Marcus Sasser, Isaiah Stewart, and Ron Holland get ejected. JB Bickerstaff gets ejected, and Timberwolves assistant coach Pablo Prigioni get ejected as well, because a little bit later in the video, I don't think it gets caught fully. They start beefing and going at it after the players have already been separated. Just all time, man. Shout out the Pistons. This is what makes the Pistons the Pistons. This fire. Isaiah Stewart afterwards, went to the sidelines or something. Let me see. And he as he was getting ejected and leaving the court, he just looked at the Minnesota crowd and just pointed to the Detroit on his shirt. I was just like, yeah, bet your ass, Detroit.
Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart's fucking awesome, man. I see a bunch of people on Twitter. This dude doesn't even play basketball. He's just a thug. He's a phenomenal defender for the Pistons this year. He's been really good for them.
I thought you were about to say he's a phenomenal thug. That's where I thought you were going.
He is, but he's also
Isaiah
playing
Stewart,
unbelievable basketball.
Isaiah Stewart is the honorable Draymond. He will do the rough shit, but he won't do it in a sneaky, dirty way. He'll do it right in your face, challenge you to a fight. He's still looking for the smoke, but he's just not going to stomp on your chest while you're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He'll knock you down and then stomp on your chest, but he's going to earn that.
Bet your ass he will.
Pistons rock. Pistons are absolutely a great watch this year. They've been a really fun team to follow. I can't wait to see them in the playoffs. They're going to have really great energy in these games. I'm sure the Little Caesars Arena crowd will be ready to go in the first round when they draw Indiana or Milwaukee, whoever it is that they get to play. And, oh, man, Pistons. Also, Ron Holland is mini Isaiah Stewart. He's always ready to scrap, too. They just have a bunch of guys.
He puts the hands up, too. He's putting the fists up. He's oh, he's ready for it.
Bunch of guys who don't care about the smoke. They're not afraid of it. The city has to love it.
I just pulled up. So you said Draymond Green. We were talking about. I pulled up their basketball reference pages just because I was looking. Draymond's nickname, the Dancing Bear. Excuse me? What the hell? He's the dancing bear. Gershon Yabusele is dancing bear. Excuse me?
They should team up.
I don't know about that one.
Or they should fight.
I don't know if Yabu would win that one. He just sit on him or something. Last NBA thing before the rat list is Gigi Jackson thought that Taylor Jenkins getting fired was an NBA Centel tweet. I'll pull up the clip so you guys can listen to exactly what Gigi had to say. But this is a good outline of how shocking the Taylor Jenkins was, even to the players in the locker room. So here you go.
Where were you when you found out about Coach Jenkins fired?
I was brushing my teeth, and all of my friends called me, and they was like, "Yo, is this real? Is this real?" It was like, Coach Jenkins got fired. And my first time, I was like, they probably saw like NBA Centel or something.
He thought he got Centelled. Taylor Jenkins thing is just so weird, man. It must have just been real beef between him and the front office because the players seem surprised. I mean, the new coach is great. I still haven't learned how to pronounce his name yet, so I'm not going to try.
But then you also have Ja magically healthy.
Well, he's been not healthy all year. Did you see his quotes? Like, I don't think he's healthy. I think they're just making him play. There's this whole thing of let me see. He was like, shoot, I gotta find it. Earlier in the season, he was like, I was out there. I shouldn't have been out there. Like, oh yeah. On March 5th against OKC, he was talking about his shoulder injury. He's like, I should have been out, but I was out there. I played like this all season, honestly, but it is what it is. Just like, yeah, they're making me play, and I'm gonna play, but I'm hurt. So maybe he's back on the court, but I don't think that means he's back healthy. So I guess we'll have to see what happens from there. What are you putting in the sheet? Is there something else you want to?
So we have, for whatever reason, my thing didn't copy paste. I had remembered this before the show and forgot to put it in. My mistake. So apparently out in LA, JJ Redick has gone to the petty side. Earlier this season, I think it was a fan theory, or Luca might have said it in a post-game interview, but there's a large contingent of people on Twitter and online that believe opposing teams' players all of a sudden become healthy or return to the lineup when it's time to play the Lakers.
Yes.
So JJ Redick assigned one of his assistants in the analytics department to look into the fucking stat. And he said it might be 86% of opposing payroll or players have become available to play us this year, which is by far number one in the league.
Listen, man, I know Celtics fans are automatically look at this and say, stop crying. It's whatever. And I get it, right? It's the Lakers. Respect. Like, do what you need to do. I get it. If this was like Joe Mazzulla and he came out and said this, it'd be like, yeah, fuck him. You'd be all like,
people would love that.
Yep, riding behind him, ready to go, like ready to charge into battle with Joe, who pulled out the stat. This rocks. I think this is awesome. Does it matter? No. Like, of course, you're the fucking Lakers. Of course, teams are going to want to play against you. Like, that's part of being the Lakers. That's part of, the fact that you guys are on national TV every day. It's the fact that you guys get all this coverage. Like, people want to play you. That's part of, the burden, or the as Joe Mazzulla would call it, the like, what's it called? The privilege of pressure. But it's cool. Like, it's fun that he pulled out the stat. I like that petty shit. That screams JJ Redick. And like I said, if Joe Mazzulla did it for the Celtics, it'd probably be second or third in the league. And yeah, so good for JJ. That's a fun stat, and I fully believe it.
We need to start talking about if JJ is just a Mazzulla copycat.
He kind of is. No, I mean, they're the same person. I don't even think he's copying. I think they just act the same way. I think he was acting like this when he was in Duke like years ago. I think he had the same exact fucking personality. Like, I think he famously had this exact personality at Duke a decade ago. Like, I think it's a pretty well-known thing that he was a fucking dickhead at Duke for 4 years. So I wouldn't say he's copying. I think he's famously an asshole. Anyways,
that's neither here nor there.
Rat list. What do you got?
The rat list is my back. It's back. I tweaked my back yesterday playing basketball. It's not nearly as bad as the day that I was at the Garden with the gang and I couldn't speak to them. like they were just having a conversation and I was sitting in the seat hoping nobody would talk to me because I couldn't project. But it's just something to monitor. We're going to see how bad it is. I don't think it's going to last, thankfully, and I'll keep stretching it. If anyone has like stretches specifically for that mid back, please send them. Send them to the email. Tweet them at me. Whatever. I love stretches. They will change your life. You just got to find the right ones. So that is my first rat list of the day.
I'm going to rat list the MLB.
Okay.
Did you see the bats?
The Yankees bats?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've heard about this.
So these are the bats the Yankees used in their recent game. Not this. This is a Photoshop. These are the bats. So they basically moved the large, thicker part of the barrel to closer to the center, to where they're going to hit the ball. There's no rule against this. And if you don't know, they hit 8 home runs, including home runs on the first 3 pitches of the games of the game.
Fire.
Sick, right? But also fuck the Yankees. Everyone hates the Yankees. I don't fuck with the Yankees.
All my homies hate the Yankees.
I hate the Yankees. But I'm rat listing the MLB. How the fuck did it take this many years for you slow idiots to figure this out? Like, baseball's got to be the slowest sport. You're telling me in X amount of years of baseball history, of the 25 years we've had since 2000, of the 10 plus years we've had of advanced technology and analytics, no one has thought, let's make the barrel of that closer to where we actually hit the ball. You're telling me no one's thought of that till right now? Are we serious? Are we stupid? Like, you guys are paying so much money to figure this out. You like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's like, of course this is gonna work. Of course, when you put the barrel, like, and they're changing it to the player too, because like it's something like Anthony Volpe hits it closer into the bat, so his bat's the barrel is like closer to where he hits it. Like, oh my God, how stupid! Like obviously I didn't think about it because I'm not a baseball guy, but like these guys are paid millions to study the game of baseball, and you can't figure that out. Jesus, well, it's so silly.
From what I heard, it's only 2 guys on the Yankees using these bats. Like Judge hit a bunch of home runs, and I don't think he's using it. I could be wrong. I could have heard wrong, but it may not be as drastic as everyone thinks it is. Not to ruin the fun.
Let me see.
I'm sure they should all be jailed anyways.
Yeah, fuck the Yankees. I don't like them. Yeah. No, I don't know. They're not illegal bats. Like, it's very smart, but it's astounding to me that no one has thought of it. Regardless, that's
rat list. Rat list is the tournament. So before the tournament, like when you fill out your brackets, you always fill it out, and like if you're me and you don't really watch much college basketball, you don't know a whole lot. The only thing you have to go by is like the seeds. But you also know it's March Madness, like upsets happen. You want to make sure you don't put all of like the 1 seeds in the Final Four. Like that's the biggest like mark move ever. Like such a poser move to do that. All the 1 seeds made the Final Four this year.
So lame. It's so lame. This year's tournament has sucked. It's so fucking lame.
And what was it, like one game was close? The Florida game was the only one that was close this weekend. There wasn't a lot of like tightly contested games.
It's just so bad.
It's really so not good how much Cooper Flag is like cementing his draft stock. Like it would have been a little fun if he was awful in the tournament. Like maybe Duke kept winning despite him being terrible, so there was just more and more.
Maybe there's like, oh, is it actually Ace Bailey? Because he's not. Cooper Flag has been unfucking believable. He's been so.
He had a Peyton Pritchard moment. I think it was on Thursday. He made a half-court buzzer beater.
Janai Broom too, man. Janai Broom looks fucking great. If you want to look at a Celtics target, keep your eyes.
Janai Broom's been in college as long as we've been doing the show.
Who cares? So is Baylor Shireman. Who gives a shit?
It's true.
they don't need 19-year-olds. We saw in 1 year Baylor Shireman being on the team, he's usurped Jordan Walsh, who was a one and done in college. The Celtics don't need 19-year-old projects anymore. They need guys who can help them beat the CBA and play rotation minutes. Janai Broom, Danny Wolf, Alex Condon. The guy at USC, I think is the college he went to. There's a big man over there that's been pretty good. He's like an older college guy. That's what they need. We'll see what they choose, but Janai Brim on the Celtics, I think, would be very interesting. Regardless, that's all I got. You got anything else?
So baseball's back. The Red Sox are back.
Yep.
They've not played well over the weekend. They won opening day, and then they lost the remainder of the games. I think we need to rat list Liam Fennessy. Liam Fennessy, one of the best tweeters there is on Boston Twitter. But it is a well-known thing that when he goes to these games, they do not win. And him and the Pod on Lansdowne boys went to Texas this weekend, and they did not win. And apparently he's in Baltimore this
They weren't there for the first game, and then
they weren't there for the first game. And then they started tweeting pictures of them in cowboy hats. And apparently he's at Camden Yards today.
I see.
Jared Carabas has spoken and said, no, Liam, why?
That is fun. I love the Sox, man. That's they're great. I'm very excited for Red Sox time. That's all I got. You got anything else?
That's it for me. All
right. We'll call it there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Auntie Ratless, my mom, she got me an Apple Watch for my birthday. I'm very excited. It's very nice. Helps with the steps. There was actually a time yesterday where I couldn't figure out how to connect my step counter to the thing. And so I had played basketball on the watch and it wasn't showing up on my phone and I was going to crouch out. But we figured it out. Also, I got called grandpa at the park yesterday.
Really?
They're like kids. These random kids came up to me and my roommate and they're like, hey, can we play with you guys? And we're like, yeah, sure. We're being nice, right? We play with them. They're playing like 3v2 or whatever. We're hanging out. And this kid just goes, you need your cane for that, grandpa? I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
You should just been like, who you calling grandpa? I'm in my physical prime. Like, like statistically, I am in my prime.
Yeah.
That's what
I
they
was
say.
Getting cooked. But again, appreciate you for tuning in.
You
Make sure
should
to, like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Well, before I take it out, you should have another rat list. There was a particular tweet that you were sent multiple times yesterday, including by myself.
I was. It was. It was. What was it?
Would you like me to read the tweet aloud?
White people love to count their steps, something like that.
They love. Let me see. Here's exactly what it says. I'm on Twitter last night before I go to bed, and I see this tweet. It says, white people be like, well, we're getting our steps in. And I send it to Jack. And then Jack goes, I've already been sent this today.
I had been. It was very mean. It wasn't very kind. But anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and Sam, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of Celtics Grizzlies, subscribe, and hit the bell. We're here every single day with new stuff for you guys. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You don't want to miss any of it, so stick around, hit the bell. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you just want the audio versions, go ahead, follow us. They'll go right to your feed. You can leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. And tell your friends. You can also find us on the email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're reading them every single time we do a pod, so get them in. Tell us what you're thinking about the team heading into the playoffs. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Twitter's Jackson NBA's. TikTok is the Jackson NBA. He's putting out good content there just about every day. Not every day, but quite frequently. And you can find me on Twitter at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.